All praise be to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of great millstone who taught us this word. I'm Sakurun, and to my right we have. And to his right.
Rock the ball.
And to his right. Alright, and welcome to GLS Gals Up the Streets. And today's topic is going to be on the kingdom. Alright, so go ahead, start it off.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters.
So this is the dream that the Most High gave to Daniel. All right, going into all the kingdoms that the Most High allowed to rule. And I gotta say it like that because see, Esau thinks that man just rule by their own will. Alright? That there is no God. That man, they make things happen. No. The Most High puts it in man's minds, alright, to do what they're going to do the next day. Alright? All these kingdoms that will be mentioned were set up by Yahweh himself to allow these nations to rule. Okay? To gain to have power for a certain particular time. Okay? So go ahead.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven.
Now I believe Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's grandson. Okay, I gotta go back into, but I believe when I remember, Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's grandson. Okay, but I could be wrong. I forget at the moment. Go ahead.
Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea.
Right.
And four great beasts came up from the sea.
Right. The four winds represent north, south, east, and west. The sea represents the it's like
what the hell, man? You got the whole piece of sidewalk.
Yeah, well, that's why a lot of these people in America are gonna die. They have no damn brains. And that's why they're zombies, you know. And the seas represents Earth, wherever all the people are. Because when you go to Revelation, it breaks down that the seas are the people, you know. So go ahead.
And the four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
Right. That was going into the Assyrian Empire, okay? Because it started with them. So they had what you call, if somebody could pull up the Griffin on the phone. At first the lion was I believe their sign was the lion with wings, but it was laying down or something to that extent. And then when the Babylonians came up, it stood up.
Yeah.
Like a man. Right. Because that man represented Nebuchadnezzar.
Right. Now, Sister Locke, what you were saying, Elder, you was right. Nebuchadnezzar's grandson is Belshazzar.
Right, the one, okay. All right. Yeah, so the elder Tazakio confirmed that Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's grandson. Okay? Because that's how the kingdoms work. That's that as we read on, it's gonna explain how when it speaks about Rome, how different it was because the succession of kings wasn't hereditary. It was they were being voted in, the Caesars. But you see, all the monarchy or the kingdoms before that, it was hereditary. Like the father was the king, and the son became, you know, and then his son, and then his son, like so on and so forth. That's how that was. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says, and four great beasts came up from the sea.
Right. These beasts represented kingdoms. Okay, not actual beasts. All right. Go ahead.
Diverse from one another.
Diverse meaning they were different. In their rulership, they were different, one from another. Okay, some the top tier, and then going on down, it depreciated. In other words, the top one was stronger than the second, then the third, and the fourth. Alright? No, I'm sorry. The top one, which was Babylon, was greater in glory as far as its majesty, being majestic. But the last one was stronger than the rest. But it was not as majestic as the others before. That was Rome. Because Rome was the strongest, but they weren't all majestic and glory, you know. Right, and that's why the precious metals depreciate. You know what I'm saying? As a result. Go ahead.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld to
right,
the
that was dealing with the Assyrians. Right? The symbol of the griffin began with them. The Babylonians, the water brother. And you could go into the Met and see this, man. Alright? See, it is a lion with eagle's wings, but a man's head on it. That right there, I believe that was going into the right. It says Chaldean, but it was, you know, what it was. The Babylonians got the symbol from the Assyrians. You know what I'm saying? So that head right there, that's an actual Babylonian dude head. You know, what? But
the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
Right, the Assyrian. Right.
I beheld to the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth.
Right, he beheld to the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up into the earth. What happened was Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, took over, destroyed the Assyrians. And the Assyrians, man, they were brutal, man. When you go, Barack Obama, see if you can find some of the atrocious things that the Assyrians used to do. When, you know, you had the Apostle Gabar used to know, or every now and then he'll bring out the names of those rulers of the Assyrian Empire. You know, but they were brutal, boy. When they came to fight against their enemies, man, they did a lot of horrible shit, man. You know, I believe one of them was named Ashurbanipal, something like that.
It's like I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the word assassin comes from the word series based on how to take out leaders.
Okay, I gotta look that up. I mean, I know for sure that assassin came from hashish, which was the opium shit that the Arabs smoked and all that shit, and then they came up with that. Where they got it from, you know.
This is news.softpedia.com. It says Assyrians were one of the most warlike people in history, lovers of violence, of the war and hunt. Amongst the people of the ancient Middle East, they were famous for their cruelty.
Right, see, because I remember that, man. Watching videos, you know, documentaries on the different kingdoms. You know, every now and then I like to do that. But they were known for their cruelty, man. They were cruel, and hopefully they mentioned some of the things they did. You know, go ahead.
At the peak of its power, Assyria stretched forth from Egypt to the Persian Gulf. Their aggressiveness was partly attributed to their location. Assyria was northern from Mesopotamia and north of Babylon, as no natural boundaries like shores or mountains were found there. They were vulnerable to attack from any direction. This required the presence of a strong and mobile army. They don't go into the
okay.
details.
All right, but you viewers, you could go yourself and look up the certain cruel things that they did. All right. Yeah, we're gonna.
This is 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. It says, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, the reign of Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents.
Yeah, now that's Shalmaneser, okay?